everyone, it's Adaptive Goddess, and today I'm going to be talking to you about fan fiction and things like I love to do, and then I will be doing a little read along to one of my most popular fan fictions on the site that I publish on. So when I was a little girl, I would read books in my head, but somehow the story would get jumbled and not only embellished, but like broadly embellished. So like, for example, if the sentence I was supposed to read was a girl walked to town or a girl walked to the village, I would say the girl walked with her princess thing, because the girl's the lady in waiting and they're going to the village on this cobblestone path to go find the princess's prince. And I would turn the story that's about this girl walking to a village about a princess trying to find her prince. Maybe related to the fact I love Disney. Still maybe related to the fact I love Disney. Still doesn't change the fact that I changed the entirety of that story. So when it came to reading comprehension, it was a little skewed. And it wasn't that I couldn't read at all. I mean, I went to school a grade above in reading. It was that I was so into the story that I could see myself in it, or I could see other things in it, and I would just put her in the story because the story's 1,000 times better with this character into it. Why didn't the original author write this character into it? None so much so as when I first read Harry Potter. And I got so into those books, I could not believe that my family went along with how much I loved this story. It's something that me and my brother still love to talk about and still love to do together. We have Harry Potter binge watching weekends all the time. I'm surprised they still love Harry Potter, because if I was around me, I'd probably be sick of it. So much Harry Potter stuff, it is not even funny. I probably have the entire movie set in my house somewhere. So this reading expert, when I was a little girl, told my parents this is what I was doing. And so ever since then, I've been reading books on tape to kind of get the whole story, so I couldn't add my character in until after I finished the story. And so I decided one day that I'm done having these characters in my head, I'm writing them out. And I first started writing for The Thief Lord by Cornelia Funke, and I really enjoyed it, so I went on to write more and more and more and more and more about things that I really do enjoy, or stories that I find really amazing. When I write, I tend to add characters into the original canon, so I don't necessarily change any outcome of the story unless my character adds in a different ending. So like, for example, I got fed up in Harry Potter in book 6 when no one decided to talk to each other, so I made my own character to like cut away half of the drama that didn't need to be there if people talked to each other like they were actually friends and actually knew each other the 4 years that they have all known each other. 5 years at that point, I think. So, yeah. So, the one I'm going to read to you guys is from my Maze Runner series, which is based off the movies instead of the books, because trying to make a fan fiction off of either movies and books in particular is very, very difficult. And when I try to do it off of both, it takes me forever. And then I lose interest, and then I don't want to finish the project, and I really love finishing the projects and posting them. So I'll have a link in the description down below where I post all of my material. If you go ahead and read this series before, please in the comments don't spoil anything. I really try and make it a really good experience to read. I've had quite a bit of reviews on especially my Maze Runner series. If you want to go ahead and leave reviews, that is totally welcome on any of my stuff. So, let's get into reading. The Greenie. She was waiting with everyone else, Newt to her right and Albie to her left. The crowd gathered around as they heard that all too familiar sound of the box coming up. More supplies, a new greenie, and more blue liquid for her to drink. She glanced up at the group waiting for the box. She was the only girl in the bunch. She clenched her fists. It was cruel what they were doing to them. Finally, the box opened up. Inside, among all the new supplies, was a teenager in a blue long-sleeve shirt with dark brown hair and brown eyes. She recognized him immediately. Gally jumped down to help the greenie up. "Day one, Greenie," Gally said as he helped the greenie out of the metal box, and the greenie fell to the ground. He looked scared and confused. The other gladers crowded around him. She had a funny feeling inside her stomach. They were poking fun at him as he was lying on the ground. "He's going to run," she finally spoke up. No one heard her over their screams and taunts. "He's going to run," she repeated. Still no one heard her. "He's going to—" She couldn't finish that time because the greenie got up and bolted away. "We've got a runner!" Frypan yelled as the greenie ran away. The group looked at the girl. "Oh, I'm supposed to go after him." She looked at the group as she turned to run after the greenie, her strawberry blonde curls bouncing as she ran. It didn't take her very long to catch up to the greenie. "You're going to fall," she yelled to the greenie. The greenie kept running. "You're going to—" She tried to repeat herself, but the greenie fell flat on his face. She ran over and helped him up. "Welcome to the glade," she said as he stood up. Some of the gladers took the greenie and threw him into the pit, a 3-cell makeshift mud jail used to protect the gladers from a glader who's going through the changing. A few minutes later, Albie went to the greenie. She went with. "Hey there, Green Bean," the girl spoke, looking down at the greenie. She remembered his brown hair and brown eyes. "You're not going to run away again, are you?" Albie asked as he stared at the greenie. The greenie shook his head, and Albie let him out. "We grow our own food, we build our own shelter. The box provides us some things, but everything else is up to us," Albie stated. "The box?" Greenie asked. "Every month the box arrives with such supplies and a new greenie." "This month that's you," the girl stated. "Hey, Albie," Newt stated as he walked with a slight limp towards Albie, the greenie, and the teenage girl. "Greenie, this is Newt. He's in charge when I'm not around." Albie put his hand on Newt's shoulder. "And I'm Lyra," the girl stated as she stood next to Newt. "I'm in charge when these two are acting like idiots, which seems to be all the time," she joked. "Can you two go find Chuck?" Albie asked, looking to Newt and Lyra. Lyra and Newt walked away from Albie and the greenie. They walked by the gladers, who were taking inventory of the box's supplies. "Hey, Lyra," one of them shouted. "Catch!" He threw a plastic bottle full of blue, shimmery liquid. Lyra caught it, drank it, opened it, and drank it. "You still have to drink that stuff?" Newt asked with concern. His voice oozed with a British accent. "Yes. And don't look at me like that. What if someone saw?" Lyra said as she wiped some blue liquid from her mouth. "Sometimes I don't care," Newt snapped back at her lovingly. "No one is supposed to know," Lyra replied through more sips of the blue drink. "No one will know. Remember Albie's rules?" Newt replied. Lyra stuck her tongue out at him. Her tongue had a hint of blue on it. They walked a bit in silence. "Look who I found." Newt stopped walking. Standing a few feet from them was a young teen with curly short red hair. Chuck. "Chuck, Albie's looking for you. You're no longer the new greenie. One came up today. He'll need some help settling in. That's your job now." Lyra pointed at the platform in the tree in the middle of the glade. Chuck walked away towards the tree where Albie was probably telling the greenie about the rules of the glade. Albie, a while ago, had told her the special rules that only applied to her. Don't let the others see who don't already know, and don't spill a drop of her blood to prevent the changing. "Are you ready for tonight?" Newt asked Lyra as Chuck walked away. "Yeah, I can do without the additional noise," Lyra said, looking at the large stone walls that surrounded the lush green glade. Nightmares again? Newt asked, as he looked to Lyra with a hint of concern and understanding. Lyra looked at him. She opened the bottle of blue liquid and started drinking it again. It tasted like nothing, but it looked like her blood when she was stressed or scared. He can't know they returned. He would never let her into the maze again, and she had to find a way out. She saw Chuck help the greenie get his hammock made, and the doors would be closing soon. She would have to talk to Mino and Ben about what they found. She waited by the entrance of the maze. The tall stone walls loomed over her. As she saw the greenie, followed by Chuck, walk up to her. Chuck was talking about the rules of the glade, and Mino and Ben slowly ran out of the entrance. Chuck, I see there's a new greenie. How does it feel to be promoted? Ben stated as he ran by. Mino, Lyra ran after the two teens. She finally caught up with them a little ways from the maze entrance. Mino, Lyra stated, but was cut off by Mino. Lyra, there's nothing new. No change, no progress. Mino looked into her bright blue eyes. I'm running tomorrow. I'm finding a way out. Lyra looked back into his brown eyes. Suits me, Ben remarked with a laugh. Lyra smiled, but kept looking at Mino. Something drew her attention away from Mino. It was the greenie. A crowd had formed around him at the entrance of the maze. Why won't you tell me what's going on? The greenie looked at Albie and Newt. Lyra ran towards the crowd and parted it as she made her way towards the greenie. You want to know the truth? Lyra started as she neared the greenie. Lyra, Albie spoke in a stern voice. Lyra just ignored it. In a few seconds, these doors will close. And if you are stuck in the maze when the doors close, then there are things in the maze that will kill you. They killed my friends. You want to risk your life? Go ahead. I don't know you, I don't care, but you will die. And right now we need to stick together, even if you don't want to. She shouted at him. As she talked, the large stone doors started to close behind her, and there was a thud as the doors slammed shut. The gladers just stared at her. She stared at Albie, then glanced at the greenie, then glanced at her palms. Her veins glowed a glittery blue. She closed her hands, hoping no one saw. She walked towards her sleeping quarters, a tent a little ways away from the rest of the sleeping tents that the gladers made just for her. She laid in her swinging hammock. Tears rolled down her cheek. And that is the end of the first chapter. So, leave a comment down below. How are you guys liking this? Do you guys want me to do more of this? I'll probably just read it anyway because I love sharing my creativity. So that's it for the video. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe and gently tap that like button. And remember to be kind, compassionate, and true to you.